Welcome to another Hobo Talks. In today's video, I'm going to do something a little different. I want to talk about why I started using Nepeto, how it works, what I actually did with it, some mistakes I made along the way, and finally, whether I think you should give it a shot. Let's get to it. All right, let's start out with what Nepeto is. It's currently on its 3.0, so I'm not sure about the earlier versions, but Nepeto is a retail arbitrage helper. It helps in many different ways, and they have many tools that they've designed to give you an advantage and to give you products that are profitable. And they do a lot of the research for you, and they give you ways to even copy other people's stores. So let's do a quick little walkthrough. All right, so what you see in front of you is the basic dashboard for Nepeto. There's many different boxes on here, and all of them take you to different things, but to a point, they're all somewhat interconnected. The first box here basically just talks about your plan as well as the match and mismatch challenge. So basically, as you go through here, or once you log into this, it's going to pop this little box up here. It's going to ask you, you ready for the challenge? Then it's going to show you two different products. The one on the left basically comes from one of their suppliers. So you're supposed to click it like this, check out some of the stuff it's showing, check the sizes, how many is a quantity, the flavors, XYZ. Then you go over here, go to the Amazon page, which should theoretically be the same product. So you kind of want to check those same things. You want to check the sizes, the quantities, the packs, the flavors, and then you want to say match or mismatch. And so basically, you want to go through here. I think it gives you 25 different ones. At the end of the day, there's a certain number that they're looking for. And if you're in the top number, they're supposed to give you a free subscription. Which type of subscription it is, I'm not sure. But that's what this is talking about here. Next, the main section of this is this one right here. It's retail arbitrage. This allows you to come in here and basically get options. It's going to allow you to filter by different categories, the prices you want to pay, the ROI you want to make, the best sellers rank, Amazon offers. You can even sort by things on if you're gated, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Couple other filters: must have a buy box, no buy box, no private label. You can come in here and even remove the FBA fees from the Amazon fees. You only really want to do this if you are working. You only really want to do this if you're doing FBM. So if something you're shipping out, obviously you don't need the Amazon fees in here. And all this really does is it changes your calculations here. By having less Amazon fees, your profit and ROI calculators will update to show basically what you have. This little cost area here, which I added in 7, is basically just kind of a catch all. So in my case, I put in $7 just to kind of emulate freight. If I have to pay $7, $8, something like that, these are kind of the ROIs you get. So it's kind of how this reads. You have the Amazon link, you have the seller's link, you have the Keepa chart, which, if you know anything about Keepa, basically gives you a history of the prices things have sold at. So this, for example, you can see back February was about $150, shot up closer to 250, kind of bounce up, bounce up, bounce up. Then it kind of ran out of stock, looks like. Then it shot all the way up here, and now it's slowly trickling down. You have the ASA number, which is very important for getting authorized on Amazon. You have the current price. This should be the price that it's on this road or the different merchant. This is the Amazon price. So they have a particular listing they are looking at that this price should go to. It's calculating Amazon fees, how many offers or how many people are currently selling it. And as well, something that's important, if it's FBA or FBM. Sometimes Amazon gives preferential treatment to the FBAs. Then it's got your profit, what it's calculating based off of these numbers, and then your ROI. These things are pretty important. Now, there's a couple other little tabs over here. We'll talk about those a little bit later, but that's really what it comes down to. Now, the one other thing that is very important with this site, and it's really kind of something that's growing and what I'm showing you right now may even be different in the future. It's this filter suppliers list. They have a ton of companies in here, but I can say a lot of these don't seem to come up for me when I'm looking. Now, there's a couple of reasons for that. One could be they don't have stock. One could be the systems aren't fully set up and it's just something they're adding for now. Another reason could just be your filters. If you have a certain filter that says, hey, I want my ROI to be 20%, for example, if all the stuff from that company is only at 10%, it's not going to show it to you. You know, the seller's rank, if the company maybe is selling a decent amount, but not selling quite at the amount that you suggested, it's not going to show it to you. If you have a particular category turned off, that could also affect this. Another filter that could be in here that some people may hit, and you have to remember to turn it off, is show only favorites. If you have this on, you didn't favorite it, it's not going to show it to you. So that's pretty much it as far as that goes. All right, so I wanted to talk about the plans here. As of this current time, there are four different plans that they have. As you can see here, starter is 34 As you can see here, the starter plan is $34 a month. The advanced is 78. The pro is currently showing at 98 and the master is 99. You do get a lot of extra features for $1 a month. But me personally, I went ahead and did with the pro. I felt like this was a more reasonable thing to do. Now, one thing you have to take into account is some of the pricing in here is for monthly and some is for annually. So you have to decide what you want to do. But what I would recommend to anyone that's starting out is to go ahead and utilize the 2-week free trial. So you can decide up front, is this something that you are willing to commit to on a monthly basis or on a yearly basis? As you can see here with the way it's laid out, each plan has a set of features that is assigned to it, and then the next step up includes that plus more. So me personally, like I said before, I really utilized the pro plan, and that gave me a good amount of features to kind of test out in that 2-week trial because that's where I really wanted to be. Now, it's not something that I directly explored, but one thing that a lot of people look for is something that's similar to SellerAmp. So this company also has a mobile app, and this will allow you to install it on two devices as well as two Chrome extensions. So even at the most basic level, you can get access to that. So really, at a smaller amount, you're able to kind of emulate what you could do on SellerAmp. Dang, I think the stream I just did is already gone. It only stayed on there a couple of days. All I see is like my old stuff. That's fine. So you may be wondering, what is this app really for? Is this just for? You may be wondering, bitch. You okay? So you may be wondering, what's this app really for? Is it just to find deals so you understand when you're buying stuff that you're making a good purchase? Yes and no. This website and this app is for retail arbitrage, which is essentially a selling tactic which lets you buy mostly new product from a store and sell it on another platform to someone for some type of margin. That margin then needs to be enough to offset your fees, shipping, any other kind of cost that is associated with your business. And that's what this website is doing. It's giving you products that are profitable that meets your standings, your listings, whatever your store is designed to do. So, one of the best ways to learn about things that you can sell is by watching other people's videos. A lot of times, people will put out videos showing you certain products that they like, certain things they're looking for. They help show you what they look for, how much money they've made, things like that. And this guy here, Richie Hustles, is one that I watch a lot. I strongly recommend. Call him Mr. Double.
Is miraculous 509. 509. That's actually a really good deal. We'd have to look for more of that. Oh yeah, 16.99. What? Bro, that's a chicken dinner, bro. That's a friggin' chicken dinner right there. Double up.
Anyway, one thing that he always has is he has his trusted seller amp app that he utilizes to check profitability, how fast things are selling, uh, what kind of margins there are, how many people are selling the products, how much competition. He does a great job showing that. And apps like Nepeto are a great way to kind of emulate that seller amp type feel. Now, I haven't used Celerant before, so I can't give you a direct side by side comparison. But from what I've seen on his videos, Nepeto's portfolio of different tools does the same thing and appears to be even more. The ability to look up what is on sale and give you links to where to buy it from, as well as them even having things like Rakuten and some of those other websites to give you even more savings, is more than I've ever seen from SellerAmp. Not saying that SellerAmp doesn't do it, it's just not something I have seen. So, me personally, I have an eBay store, I have an Amazon store, I sell on Mercari. One thing I wanted to do to kind of step up my game, if you will, is to find more products that I can sell this way. And I believe retail arbitrage is going to be more effective than, for example, going to garage sales or maybe going to the bins or something like that. Because if you can find one good product, you can not only buy a bunch of them at a time from one place. If it's from a big box store, you can go to multiple stores and get that same product and really maximize your profits. All right, I don't want this video to get too long, so let's kind of speed through a couple more of these features that are on here. One of the cool ones that I really like is this be the only seller. And basically what this is it helps you find things that are currently out of stock on Amazon. So what does that mean? Basically means you can be the only seller. Now, the ROI and the price are one of those things that are a little bit of a toss up at this point. You really got to focus on the Keepa chart, see kind of what it was selling at, and see kind of where you think you can actually sell it at. Because essentially, what you're doing is you get to be the market. You get to set the price for whatever it's going to be moving forward. So you can set how much margin it is. Obviously, people don't have to buy it at whatever price you put it at, but you get to be the only seller. Another thing that's cool is the storefront scanner. If you have a particular person that you're following, you can literally click this, put in their store. It's usually a store ID, merchant ID, and you can see all the things they're selling. And then this app will also scan for those products on their set of merchants and see if you can get something that's got a good margin on it. Amazon to Amazon flips. It's kind of what it sounds like. Things that have dropped in price on Amazon that you can buy. Now, if you are a seller, this is something that it would be kind of nice to take advantage of. A lot of times people kind of stick together. You know, if somebody says it's $50, maybe somebody will go 59.99, 59.98. And then there's that one person that jumps in at $35. It kind of screws everybody else over. This is kind of like that, where you buy that one person stock and then you're able to help maximize the stock of everything else. Amazon to Amazon flips. Right, before I get to the mistakes I made before I joined Nepeto, let's talk about one last thing, and it is the CSV scanner. So as you can see here, there are two main ways you can upload. You can upload by the ASIN number or the UPC EAN number. So depending on your list of vendors that you like to buy from. You can basically upload their stuff. So you may have a list of SKUs that you get from Walmart, let's just say, or Best Buy, or I don't know, Home Depot, wherever it is. There's certain things that you want to search for. You can upload it into here. And depending on the ASIN number or the UPC, this tool will then turn around and scan over all their different merchants to see if they can find a good price for you. With that, then it will cross reference it with Amazon listings to basically help point out certain things. This could be really good if you're really trying to maximize a certain category, or you have something you're really trying to focus on in particular. This can be a little bit of an advantage for you. All right, let's move on to the mistakes I made. So when I look back on my time with Nepeto so far, I would say there's really three main mistakes I made. The first one is this free walkthrough with the Amazon expert. So this is a call to basically get set up. A few people can get on there. It won't be just necessarily you. There will be an engineer usually that's from the website that can kind of help with functionality, as well as another person who is an expert on basically utilizing the platform in different ways to do things. This is something that I did do, but I didn't do it until I was at least about 1 week into using the tool. This is something that I wish I had done a little earlier. Um, I spent some time watching tutorials and things like that, but just really getting on there and being able to ask questions really is a big help. So that would be the first mistake I did. So I'd recommend, if you're going to do this, go ahead and get that walkthrough set up early on. Oh, that was kind of weird. Mistake number two for me would really be not really understanding what all was included. For example, I did not understand that the mobile app that it mentions here was something that was included in the trial period. So I went through at least a week of this before I happened to get on that call when they mentioned that no, this is included. It comes with two. And I was just trying to utilize the web stuff. So when I was out doing my normal sourcing, I could have also been using the mobile app and the Chrome extension to really understand. This is not something that I believe is just put out there, but you have to reach out to the support team and then they will turn it on for your account. But I don't believe there's anything in here that does that automatically. And so that would be mistake number two. As soon as I start the video. What the heck? You okay? The watermelon rolled off the thing. I could tell it's gone. Didn't burst though. Mm-mm. I'm at this the start of my video. Outside. This clip. All right, so number three for me really is not having enough money to start. Now, you do get. They said your virtual assistant can use this too. My virtual assistant can use it? Yeah, I didn't really understand that part till I just read that, because it says you get 2 mobile app installs and 2 Chromes. So I could actually go buy stuff, but you could help look it up off the same account essentially. Okay. All right. I should be. and really, and for the third mistake, I believe that would be not having enough money to really make this work. Now, you do get a 2-week free trial. That is true. And one thing that may not be as apparent is kind of this. You buy one, you get one. Your VA, which is virtual assistant, can also use Nepeto. So you can have somebody help you look up things and then you buy them, for example. That's kind of the way that works. But at the same time, what you kind of have to remember, if you're using, let's say, the pro account, that is $98 a month. If you're doing the monthly, if you're doing annually, it's much better. Look at that, 54. But if you're just doing the pro account, that's $98. And if you think about it, if you're only making, let's say, $1 per thing you sell, that means you need to be selling at least 98 different things a month just to break even on this. Just to break even, not making any money, just breaking even. So, one thing that I didn't fully take into account is that now, obviously, you can buy things with more profit and maybe do this in less items, but a lot of times you also have to spend more money to make more money. So there is some calculations in there that you're going to have to figure out on your own. So I got a little bonus mistake here for you. And really, that is not being able to fully utilize one of the features. And it's not exactly a Nepeto issue, it's an Amazon issue. So one of the more important filters on Nepeto is your ability to sort by things that you're gated for, not gated for, or that have a hard gate on them. So some of the red restricted type things, you can make sure it takes all that kind of stuff out. And the way it does that is by connecting to your Amazon account. But one issue that I found out is the connection that's needed by Amazon requires you to have a professional account. I do not have a professional account. I just have the normal Amazon seller account, which basically, if I'm remember my math correctly, would require you to sell about 40 different items a month. If you're selling more than 40, then it makes sense to get the professional account because of the way it takes the fees out of your account. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to have that. I am not currently selling over 40 different items a month, so I don't have the professional account. But because of that, I was never able to turn that feature on. And the reason why that's important is a lot of the deals you find. There's so many good deals on here that it will show you things that are in stock and you'd be like ready to go. But you have an issue that you're not authorized for them. And then you have to do the whole, okay, I can get authorized, but now I need to buy it from this other source to get the official invoices and things like that. That is a really big issue that I see with all of this. If you cannot get authorized, it makes it a lot harder. I believe that's where that CSV file could really help because you're able to maybe stick to more of the categories that you are already authorized for, and then you can work towards getting some of the other ones. So, that being said, without being authorized for so many things, this makes this app a bit hard to really utilize to its full potential. Utilizing the scanner and some of the mobile apps and things like that will allow you to still find out if things are good deals. And technically, you can probably still utilize this to sell on other apps such as eBay or Macari. But for Amazon, which is what this is designed for, without that one special component being turned on, it may not make this as useful as you need it to be. All right, so time for the hobo verdict. If you want to utilize what you said, you talking mess over there? I didn't say anything. Okay, not sure I believe you, but all right, time for the hobo verdict. If you want to utilize Nepeto, I certainly think the over fat ass over there. All right, time for the hobo verdict. If you want to use Nepeto, there's a few things that I would recommend you do first. Number one, I would suggest that you had a store that is set up as professional. I know there are some benefits to it besides just the cost, but you need to make sure you check out your store and what you're selling to make sure it makes sense for you. Without having the ability to search by what's gated and what's not gated, you can waste a lot of time and therefore money trying to find matches of things that you can sell. And if you do find them, there's no guarantee you can get authorized buying it from the location that they have on there. Number two, I'd recommend you have at least $200 set to the side. You can certainly get there with less than that, but depending on what category you're trying to get into pricing wise, you need to move a decent amount of product to really make this work. Even at bare minimum for 1 month past your 2 month, it's $34. So you need to technically sell at least 34 items for $1 or whatever math that you come up with. But by you having $200 to start with, that should allow you to buy a decent amount of product when you find something you like. It doesn't have to be the same product, but per the normal rules of Amazon, you need at least 10 things to get ungated. So, depending on if you're already ungated or what your actual setup is, this could vary a little bit. But at least you got to keep this in mind because whatever you're selling, you now have at least $34 more a month that you need to account for. I believe you can also take this off on your taxes, so you can still get that money back in a way, but you don't want to start out with negative money. Another thing that I think is really important to make this work is you need to be someone that has a decent amount of free time to do research. The website will do a lot for you. It will put a lot of stuff in front of you, but you still need to go through it and verify that what you're looking at is the, in fact, same thing that's on the Amazon listing. You need to make sure that the one listing that it's referring to isn't an anomaly. For example, some things may be showing it's selling for $200, but when you look at the Keepa chart, you can see it's been 150 for like the last 7 months and just randomly shot up to 200, 250, whatever. You need to make sure you're not falling for any traps like that. And if you have a virtual assistant, they can do a lot of that information for you, but not everybody has that. If all these things are true, I say go for it. Give it a shot. If nothing else, do the 2 week free trial and see if you can make it work. If not, no harm, no foul. You just cancel your membership or your subscription and you go back to the drawing board. Figure out what you can do better the second time through. But that's all I got on this one. So if you have any questions or comments, please put a message below. I'll do my best to answer them. And oh yeah, in case you didn't know, I's a hobo. Thanks for watching.